Hi everyone, my name is Peter. Thanks for joining me at Our Worship Sound. We're in the middle of this series about how to take something that you know from one song, whether it be a riff or a chord progression, and how to transfer it to a different song. We've talked about how the key to that is really to understand what you're playing in terms of numbers, specifically giving numbers to each scale note and really getting an intimate understanding of what's going on in a scale and how different notes sound so we can apply those to different songs. So we talked in our last video about how to know whether your scale is going to have sharps in it or have flats in it. So from there, we can know whether to apply the rules for sharps or the rules for flats. And in this video, I want to actually talk about those rules. So the first thing you need to know in applying the rules for sharps or the rules for flats is we need to understand that they always happen in a certain order. Okay, the rules for sharps are the order of sharps are F sharp, C sharp, G sharp, D sharp, A sharp, E sharp, and B sharp. Okay, the order of flats will be B, E, A, D, G, C, and F. So these are the orders in which flats will appear or sharps will appear. Okay, so the reason is if you have one sharp in a key signature, it has to be F sharp 100% of the time. If you have a sharp at all, it has to be F sharp. If you have two sharps in a key signature or a scale, it has to be F sharp and C sharp. If you have three, it has to be F sharp and C sharp and G sharp, okay? You're never gonna have a scale where you have, say, two sharps and it's these two, or it's this one and this one, okay? It has to happen in this certain order. So if you have a scale with four sharps, it's gonna be the first four in the order of sharps. In the same way for the order of flats. If you have one flat, it has to be B flat. And then from there, you'd have B flat plus E flat, okay? So you get the point. Now, to understand this order, there's a saying that we use. It goes, Father Charles goes down and ends battle. Okay? The reason why we use that is because we can also say it backwards, because the order of flats is actually the opposite of the order of sharps. So if we understand this, let me grab my eraser. Saying it this way, Father Charles goes down and ends battle is the order of sharps. Saying it this way, battle ends and down goes Charles' father, is the order of flats. They're opposite each other. So that one saying will help us to remember both. So at this point, we're almost there to understanding everything that we need to know in order to build scales. There are three things you need to know. One is your home note, which you can get by just kind of hearing and playing through a piece. You need to know the musical alphabet, which just goes A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and then it repeats itself. And then you need to know how many sharps or how many flats you need to put within the scale. Let's talk through a couple of examples here with the board, and then I'll show you on the keyboard. So let's say that we're going to, we have a song that starts in E. The home note is E, so the scale starts with E. Okay, the rules for sharps are this. If a scale has E, you're going to find the sharp that's right underneath it. Okay, so the sharp that's right underneath E is D sharp. Okay, so if a scale has D sharp in it, it also has to have F sharp, C sharp, and G sharp in addition to the D sharp. Okay, so again, if a scale starts on E, we're going to go to the sharp that's right below it, which is D sharp, and then have all the sharps in the order of sharps up to and including that one. Okay, if our scale starts on A, the sharp that's right below A is G sharp. So if we have G sharp, we also have the two before it. Okay. For flats, we're going to use an entirely different system, so we need to make sure that we separate. We have rules for sharps and we have rules for flats. The way we do it with flats is we're going to have all the flats in the order of flats up to the starting note of the scale plus one more. Here's what I mean by that. So now we're starting here with the order of flats and going this way. Let's say that we have a scale that starts on E flat. So if we have E flat, we also have to have B flat. And in addition to the E flat, we're going to have plus one. We're going to have one more A flat. So if a scale starts on E flat, we have the B flat in the order of flats before it, plus E flat, and then plus the A flat. Okay, let's do another one. Let's say we have a scale that starts on D flat. Okay, in order to have D flat, we have to have the ones in the order of flats before that, and then we're going to add one. Okay, so all the flats up to D flat plus one. So the flats for the D flat scale would be B flat, E flat, A flat, D flat, and G flat. Okay, so now let me switch camera angles and I'll show you with the overhead keyboard position. We'll walk through several of these scales. So now that we know the rules for flats and the rules for sharps, let's apply them and actually build some scales. So I said there are three things that we need to know in order to build a scale, and that is the starting note, the musical alphabet, and the key signature. So let's say that we're starting with the C scale, it's the starting note. The key signature is no sharps, no flats. Remember, that's one that we need to have memorized. So now we need to apply the musical alphabet from here. C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. It just goes right off the musical alphabet. Once we get to G, we start back over with A. There's one kind of every letter in every scale. So C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, all naturals. The other one that we need to memorize is the F scale. F scale has just one flat, B flat. So what we're going to do is we'll start on F. We'll go up according to the musical alphabet. Everything's going to be natural except for that B is going to be flat. F, G, A, B flat, C, D, E, F. So in that scale, we had a B flat, so we played B flat instead of the B natural. F, G, A, B flat, C, D, E, F. Okay, now let's take a scale that starts on A. We know that a scale that starts on a natural, other than C or F, is going to use the rules for sharps. So let's apply the rules for sharps. We need to find the sharp that's right underneath A. That's G sharp. Okay, now we need to put that in our order of sharps. And before we can have G sharp, we have to have F sharp and C sharp, because our order of sharps is F, C, G, and then so on. So our A scale is going to have G sharp, but before that has to have F sharp and C sharp. So our sharps for the A scale are F, C, and G. So let's apply that to our A scale. We'll go up the musical alphabet. A, B, C is sharp, D, E, F sharp, G sharp, A. So again, we start on A, we go up the musical alphabet, and we apply the sharps from the key signature, which are F sharp, C sharp, and G sharp. A, B, C sharp, D, E, F sharp, G sharp, A. Let's do a couple of more sharp scales. Scale starts on D. D is a natural, that's not C or F, so we're going to use sharps. The sharp right underneath D is C sharp. Before we can have C sharp, in the order of sharps, we have F sharp. So we have F sharp and C sharp in the D scale. D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp, D. One more time, that's D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp, D. And just to bring us back, the reason why we're going through this is so we can give these scale notes numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in the key of D, and then we can figure out what we're playing in terms of those numbers, and it makes it much easier to transfer those things to other songs. Okay, one more in the key, or with a sharp scale. Let's take the key of E. E has D sharp right underneath it, so we're going to have F sharp, C sharp, G sharp, and this D sharp. Okay, F, C, G, and D will be our sharps. So we'll start on E, we'll go up the musical alphabet and apply those sharps. E, F sharp, G sharp, A, B, C sharp, D sharp, and E. So far, so good. Now let's do some flat scales. So our rules for flats are we're going to have all the flats in the order of flats up to the starting note plus 1. So let's say we're using A flat. We're going to have all the flats in the order of flats up to A flat plus 1 more. So we think order of flats, B, E, A, D, G, C, F, we'll have B, E, A flat, which is our starting note, plus D flat. B, E, A, and D will be our flats for the A flat scale. A flat, B flat, C, D flat, E flat, F, G, and A flat. So again, the A flat scale, we'll have A flat, B flat, C, D flat, E flat, F, G, and A flat. Let's take the B flat scale. B flat is the first one in the order of flats, so we'll just have B flat plus 1. So B flat plus E flat would be the next one in the order of flats. So we have B flat, C, D, E flat, F, G, A, B flat. Let's do one more. We'll do the scale starting on E flat. So say we figured out that E flat is our home note for this key. So we're going to build a scale starting on E flat. We'll have all the flats in the order of flats up to E plus 1. So I have B flat, E flat, A flat. Okay, B flat and E flat is our starting note plus 1 more A flat. So we'll have E flat, F, G, A flat, B flat, C, D, E flat. Okay, let me quickly go back and cover just a couple of scales that are maybe a little bit odd. So in our last video, we talked about how if it starts on a black key, it's almost always going to be a flat scale. Okay, there's only one key, or there's only one scale that starts on a sharp, and that is F sharp. And let me show you why. Okay, we could take this black key and think of it as C sharp, but then we have to find the sharp that's right underneath C sharp, and it is B sharp. Okay, B sharp is played the same as C natural. So if we have C sharp, we're gonna have, or if we have B sharp rather, we're gonna have every note B sharp. So it would be C sharp, D sharp, E sharp, F sharp, D sharp, A sharp, B sharp, C sharp. That would be the scale, and that's all 7 sharps. It's easier to think of this in terms of flats, because then we only end up with 5 flats. Okay, so again, if your scale starts on a black key, it's almost always going to be a flat that you're going to use, unless you start on this F sharp. Let's talk about this F sharp scale for a second. Okay, F sharp, we have to find the sharp that's right underneath, and it's here. It's going to be E sharp. Okay, half step up from E is E sharp. So remember, we can only have one kind of every letter in the scale. So this has to be E sharp. Okay, now we're going to spend a little bit of time on this, but this is not a scale that you have to play frequently, but I just want to explain it really quick while we're here. Okay, so F sharp, this is the sharp right underneath it, it's E sharp. So we have to have all the sharps in the order of sharps up to and including E sharp. So F, C, G, D, A, and E. The only note that is not sharp is B. So as we apply that to the scale, we'll have F sharp, G sharp, A sharp, B, C sharp, D sharp, E sharp, F sharp. Okay, and that's how that sharp scale works. So once you know the starting note, the musical alphabet, and what sharps or flats to put in the scale, you can put together any scale that you need. Okay, and once you do that, you can understand how different notes function within a key, and it makes it so much easier to transfer what you do in one song to another. Want to recommend that you check out Fluent Piano, because it takes you through all 12 keys. It'll take you quickly through the scales, but more importantly, it'll get you playing different notes within those scales, and you'll begin to hear these relationships that really enable you to do things like play by ear and transfer one riff from one song to another, or a chord progression from one song to another. It really just kind of unlocks a lot of musical concepts for you. So I hope you'll check that out. You can try the first 2 lessons for free. Just go to ourworshipsound.com/fluentpiano. Thanks for watching this. We're going to do a couple more videos on how to take this a step further, take something from one song, transfer it to another. Stay tuned. We'll see you soon.